You guys absolutely killed the last episode of 5 Zombies changes that we did this last week, and so as such, there's still a lot that we can talk about, and I figured let's do it here in another episode. So, firstly, thank you guys so much for the support on the last episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. You guys broke almost 1,500 likes on that, and that's pretty crazy to think about. So, let's see if we can challenge that one here in this episode, but before we get too far into it, if you guys have any suggestions for changes that you guys know of, or that we haven't covered yet here in the last episode and this episode, feel free to drop it in the comment section down below and we'll keep this going as a regular series. But let's talk about 5 more changes to Black Ops 3 Zombies since launch to what we have right now. Starting us off at number 1 here today, it deals with Shadows of Evil, as do a lot of things in the beginning of Black Ops 3, simply because that was the first Zombies map that we had available to everybody. Yes, the Giant was there, but Shadows is definitely something that has a lot of changes to it, simply because of some of the mechanic changes that have happened since launch. But this one deals specifically with the Margwas, and that is that the Margwas actually previously only had one of their heads open at a time. This made for a decent amount of time that it took to kill the Margwa in a sense, or really kind of limited to what you could shoot at here with this, and gave it in a sequential order almost, where you had to follow strict parameters to kill it. But now there are multiple that will open at one time. I don't believe that I've seen all 3, but I have seen 2 open at the same time before, which gives you a little bit more target area to shoot at, and sometimes it really does help if you're trying to take those out fast. The second change here up on this list actually was something that was changed rather quickly within Shadows of Evil, and then caused a major sort of witch hunt, if you want to put it that way, for the actual steps to upgrade this. This being the Apothicon Servant and the Pack-a-Punch version, or the upgraded version of the Apothicon Servant in Shadows of Evil. If you guys remember back around, I think it was only about 2 to 3 days into Black Ops 3 that it got patched, but you could previously put the Apothicon Servant simply in the Pack-a-Punch and have it upgraded as such. This then once again was patched, and for a long time people dug through the game code, dug for any sort of trigger that they could find to get that upgrade process started for the Apothicon Servants, and with Jason Blundell having given some cryptic hints as to saying that you would be able to upgrade it, everybody really thought that this was still something that was possible on Shadows. It since has been confirmed that it's not, and we actually end up seeing the Apothicon Servant upgradable in Revelations, but for quite some time, a lot of people thought it was going to be in Shadows of Evil, and for a very short period of time, you could actually Pack-a-Punch it simply as that, just simply putting it into the Pack-a-Punch machine and then getting it out as the upgraded version. So that's the second change here up on this list today, and moving further on into number 3, this deals with one that a lot of people mentioned in the comments last episode, and I did know about it, I just didn't have the space in the 5 spots to put this in for this one. This being that the Gobblegum machine was much different. It very much so acted like the mystery box, where you could only hit it a certain amount of times, and I believe there was only 1 or 2 Gobblegum station locations for the Gobblegum machine, but if you ended up hitting it too many times, it would end up changing around, and therefore you'd have to go searching for it again. There wasn't a stationary Gobblegum machine at every single location that you could hit at any point in time during that round. It was something that simply, once again, was like the mystery box. It changed locations and kind of got annoying at sometimes, but of course it made it a little bit tougher to rely on those Gobblegums. So I guess it is a little bit of a trade-off that you could either see as positive or negative. The fourth one up on this list is something that is a little bit different and something that you might not have noticed, but definitely caused a little bit of maybe distractions or problems for people that were trying to do the Easter eggs at some point in time. Earlier in the builds of Black Ops 3, there was no shared inventory between co-ops. So if you were playing with somebody, you didn't necessarily know if they had picked up a piece for the Easter egg, if you picked up something that you needed for completion of a certain step, things like that. There was no real easy way to end up communicating those between each other, especially if you were playing, say, something public and somebody didn't have a microphone or something like that, to which, I mean, I guess if it's at that point, it does make it hard no matter what, but there was no simple way for you to check whether your partner had something you needed or if you had to go find it for yourselves, and thus create a little bit of confusion, a little bit of problems, whatever you want to put it. It was just a feature that was, when it was updated, definitely much needed. But that moves us then into the 5th and final change here from Black Ops 3 Zombies from the launch to right now, and this one is going to deal with the Death Machine. This dealing around not only with the drop rates of it, but also how clunky it was previously, and how honestly it was kind of a deterrent at one point as well. Drops of the Death Machine weren't added in regularly until I believe Der Eisendrache, if I've done a little bit of the research right on that. And the biggest thing about this also that some people didn't even try to go for this if they were dropped was because it took 4 seconds to pull the gun up and start to use, and then also the same amount of time to put it back once the drop either ended or you physically ended it yourself. Now, if you were to take a look at that drop, not only does it drop a lot more frequently, but it also comes up almost immediately, probably about a half second at max. I'd honestly maybe gander to say also a quarter of a second that it takes to pull it up and bring it up to ready, but as such, it makes it a lot easier to use. It doesn't take away from the time that it slows your movement speed down, and also opens up that window for zombies to hit you and you be defenseless. It's definitely something that is a much needed change, and I'm very glad that it was changed from the previous version that it was at the previous build of it during the earlier life cycle of Black Ops 3 to now. So that said, that's going to conclude this episode of 5 changes to Black Ops 3 since launch to now, over a year and a half later at this point. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. How many of these of the 5 did you know, if any at all? And adversely, if you guys also have anything that you think could fit to another episode of this, feel free to drop it down there in the comment section down below as well, and we'll keep this going once again as a stable series. I'm totally fine with this. I'm totally open to it. I love taking a look at these kind of changes, so feel free to let me know down there in the comments if you guys have any of your own. But hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date with everything we have here regarding Zombies Chronicles and zombies in general, Black Ops 3 multiplayer, Call of Duty World War II multiplayer, and zombies, Modern Warfare Mastered, all that good stuff we got you covered here up on the channel. And finally, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that is the best place to get connected with me outside of YouTube, but practically live on Twitter. So if you guys want to share a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. But all that said and out of the way, hopefully you guys had a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. My name is Nikolai Espresso. Take care and peace.